What we're doing here is these are the winds relative to the radar site, which is back up here to the north. Anything in green is going toward the radar site. Anything in red is going away. So when you get those side by side here, that gives us an indication of rotation. And we've been watching this here in the Weather Center for about the last half hour or so as we see some of those additional showers and storms that are developing and moving in from the west. Of course, we had a lot of organized severe weather out west earlier, but if you're in Campbellsville, especially on the north side, and then eventually skipping over into the southern part of Marion County here, you need to go to a basement. If you don't have a basement, an interior room, the lowest level of your home, preferably a closet or a bathroom. You want to put as much real estate and room between yourself and the outside world here. And obviously, if you're in a mobile home, you'll want to seek safer shelter, and hopefully you've got a predetermined place to go, especially when we are dealing with the potential of severe weather, as we have been indicating for the better part of the day. But that thing really kind of looks like it's tightened up just a bit here. Actually, let's see, let's put a track on it. It's moving off to the east at about 60 miles per hour. So these things are moving along pretty good. Jordan, Caleb, if you want to pop Jordan up briefly here, so I can make a little adjustment to the camera. All right, you're up, bub.
Yeah, so we're watching this rotation just up in between Summersville and Campbellsville. We're going to get a track on you to track this off towards the east. Again, this is moving at the east there at 60 miles an hour. We get into Durhamtown here roughly about 138. And if this storm can hold together, we will see it eventually begin to make its way on off towards possibly parts of Casey County there and Lincoln County as well. So that is something that we will be watching over the next little bit. And yeah, TG, that the signature there rotation is starting to tighten up just a little bit there as it's getting ready to move closer into Taylor County. So,
all right, let's pop back over here. All right, there we go. So again, in Taylor County and parts of Marion County, just the southern part there, tornado warning for about 21 minutes here. So again, there's Campbellsville, and where you see the brighter red and the brighter green, and the radar just updated here, it literally is on the northwestern side of Campbellsville. Actually, Jordan, if we can just zoom in a little bit closer, if you can just pull in a bit tighter the circulation there, even go a little closer to street level. Here's a bird's eye view, actually, before you do that. This kind of shows you what's happening, not only down with the tornado warning, but you can see the individual cells have kind of congealed into a broken line of thunderstorms here, and that's what we had alluded to over the past really couple of days. That's how the data was kind of shaking things out. We've got that severe thunderstorm warning still ongoing for parts of Scott and Harrison County here in the metro area, but this is front and center here. The tornado warning, again, Campbellsville, looking at the general reflectivity, it just looks like a stronger thunderstorm, but it's that bit of rotation that we've got there just on the northwestern side of Campbellsville in Taylor County. And you see the polygon here, just a small part of southern Marion County. Lebanon, you're not in it. Gravel Switch, you're good. You're seeing some heavy rain and gusty winds. And as this entire line continues to work eastward, eventually over into Casey County, north of Liberty, and running along the US 127 corridor here, you're going to see some gusty winds along with some heavy rain. Obviously, we got some lightning as well, but it's where that circulation is. If you want to switch back over, Jordan, to the velocity data, which again, that shows us what the winds are doing relative to the radar site. If you can just zoom in there a little bit closer to Campbellsville. So here's Campbellsville, and there's Burlington, and right in this area here along State Route 289, where you see the red and the green. Again, it's not overly tight, but that's the strongest circulation that we have seen on the radar as this stuff has been moving across central and south central Kentucky here. And it really wrapped up back across parts of Hart and Greene County, and now it is progressing eastward pretty rapidly. Again, it's moving off to the east at about 60 miles per hour. So you see already it is on the north side. It's north of Campbellsville. So literally on the north side of Campbellsville, just about to come up on US 68. You cross out of southern Marion County there south of Lebanon. Again, you see the polygon here, the warning polygon. You're okay up in Lebanon, but from Campbellsville eastward, you see some of the areas here as we head toward the top of the hour. Mansville, 150, 152 for Bradfordsville, and this is off heading into the eastern, northeastern part of Taylor County, small part of Marion County, and then eventually should, if it holds together and they extend the warning eastward, it'll move over, probably passing north of Liberty. It's going to be impact more the north side of Casey County and obviously western Casey County as well. So as this thing moves along, when the next scan comes through, probably going to be, again, on top of US 68. Let's actually, Jordan, move up into the metro area so we can kind of show you what's going on here in Lexington and points to the south. So we just got a lot of heavy rain, thunder and lightning. If you're waking up, turning us on, seeing what's going on, just general thunderstorms here in the Bluegrass region down to Nicholasville, getting off the Bluegrass Parkway there, Salvisa, McAfee down US 127, Harrodsburg, the heaviest rain, a lot of thunder and lightning is just off to your north and west, and then this trails down into western Boyle County around Perryville, Springfield, down toward Lebanon, and then there is our tornado warning polygon, which goes until the top of the hour, which is about another 15 minutes. But the way this thing has been moving, it is probably going to outrun the tornado warning polygon, which happened back here across parts of Hart and into northern Greene County. So you folks in Liberty, with the way that it's moving kind of east-northeast. I think Liberty proper okay, but you don't want to take any chances over in Casey County if, in fact, they do extend the warning eastward here. But anywhere east of Campbellsville, especially northeast. So let's pop in a little bit closer, Jordan, if we can, and switch back over to the velocity data. Because, again, you can see the reflectivity with a lot of heavy rain, a lot of lightning with it as well. But it's this area right here where you see the green and the red. So what we do with the velocity data, or what the radar does, it looks at what the winds are doing relative to the radar site. So the radar site is off to the northwest, not far from Louisville. And so anything in green here, that's moving toward the radar. Anything in red, or in this particular case, pink, that is moving away from the radar. So when you get those side by side, so here's Campbellsville, north side. This is literally right along the US 68 corridor here. So it's crossing over US 68. It looks like it's going to move at least a rotation just close to or north of Mansville, and there's the county line with southern Marion County and northern northeastern part of Taylor County. So it looks like it's going to ride right along that. It'll get into, if it keeps on its current trajectory here or movement to the east northeast, it'll get into the extreme southeastern part of Marion County and then eventually over into northern Casey County. I think Liberty, again, the county seat down there in Casey County, you should be in good shape as far as staying away from where the rotating part of the thunderstorm is. Obviously, you're going to get some stronger winds, some wind gusts. I mean, even the gradient wind gusts already have been 40, 45 miles per hour, but you could have wind gusts in excess of 60 miles per hour as this moves eastward. So looks like we got a new tornado warning up here for Harrison County. So Cynthiana, central and eastern parts of Harrison County. What's that go to, Jordan?
That goes until 2:15.
Until 2:15. So Let's see, zooming in there. Actually, if you switch it over to Wilmington's, you might be able to get a little better bead on it relative to the velocity data here. So we got 2 active tornado warnings ongoing here in the viewing area. Taylor County and parts of Marion County, that goes until the top of the hour at 2 o'clock, and then farther north, new tornado warning out. That's for Harrison County. So you want to be in a safe place, go to a basement. If you don't have a basement, an interior room, lowest level of your home, preferably a closet or a bathroom. Interior section, you want to be away from exterior windows and walls. Put as much space as you can between yourself and the outside world. Here's the safety tips. So avoid windows, outside walls, hall, staircase, closet, interior bathroom. But anywhere that butts up against the outer part of your home, apartment, whatever, again, you want to go down, not up, if you've got a multiple story dwelling here. And obviously you want to protect yourself, cover your head, pillows, blankets. Obviously a basement is the best place for you to go as well. So those are some of the safety tips. And we'll get back here to the radar and give you a check of what's going on up in Harrison County. So there's your cell right there again. Looking at it with the velocity data, it's not showing up really good on Louisville's radar. So I'm gonna switch it over to Wilmington's and see if it looks a little better. So yeah, fair. So it looks like just right there on the north side of Cynthiana and Harrison County here. Let's see what from the Weather Service. Yeah, located near Cynthiana, moving to the east at about 45 miles per hour. So if you're in Cynthiana, if you're up toward Venus, toward Poindexter, it's this area right here. Circled in yellow, there's Cynthiana, the county seat. That's the part of the cell that has the potential of producing a tornado. So if you're in that area, you want to be in your safe place. I'll put a quick track on it, and then we'll give you a little bird's eye view of what's going on. So that is moving off to the northeast at 45 miles per hour, and eventually it will move over toward Mount Olivet and also into parts of Nicholas County. So looking downstream, we already got a severe thunderstorm warning for parts of Robertson and up into Mason County, but this is the part of the cell that has the potential of producing a tornado moving off to the east at 45 miles per hour. So some of the small communities, I mentioned Venus, that'll be at just prior to 2 o'clock at 1:54. That's in about 5 minutes. And then Barefoot at 1:59, and then over toward, looks like PK, I think it is. And that's over into, looks like Robertson County there. Obviously one of our smaller counties. So Jordan, we've got a couple of tornado warnings here. One in Harrison County, and then the other down in Taylor County. And actually, I want to switch things over here, clear this, and get back. We'll get back and switch the radar mode back over to Louisville. And all right, there you go. So there's our rotation, and let's see if we got any reports from. No, nothing from the Weather Service at this point as far as extending it, because we're still about 10 minutes from the expiration of it. It looks like, Jordan, it's not as distinct. Yeah, it's not as distinct as it was a little while ago. Looking at the reflectivity, we've got heavy rain, thunder, lightning, you name it, down there, and you kind of see how the leading edge of that, anywhere along that, even above and beyond the potential for any rotation, we're probably looking at some strong winds, 55.
Tried to, be in, I mean, I know it's 1:50 in the morning at this time. Most everybody's not outside, but you don't want to go outside and, try to see the lightning or try to see what's going on. Just because when it's dark, you can't really, get a good handle on that. We're actually seeing some pretty intense thunderstorms here in the Lexington metro area as well. Tons of lightning here down parts of Lexington and down towards 75 there, Jacobson Park, down toward the southern end of the county. And we're still riding along with this tornado warning, which does include the city of Cynthiana. And again, as TG mentioned earlier, they have went ahead and issued a severe thunderstorm warning out ahead of that. So we will see exactly what they did with this tornado warning, but at least fair confidence that the damaging wind aspect will stay to the east of that, providing that downstream severe thunderstorm warning.
And again, looking at the velocity data, the issue here, because you're getting farther away from Louisville's radar, that's why the signature isn't as prominent as when we switch it over to Wilmington. So that's what you're seeing right there. And again, just looking at this one compared to what's been going on down in Taylor County, it's not as tight. It's obviously very broad, but they're playing it safe, just given the fact that the wind fields are so strong. Yep. We've had those gusty winds. So any of these that move through do have the capability, again, of spinning up a little isolated tornado. Again, all along, our biggest concern has been for the potential for just some straight line wind damage. And as Jordan mentioned, here in the Lexington area, but especially down toward Harrodsburg, you folks in Nicholasville, Danville, you're really kind of catching the brunt of it right now. And then down here in southern Kentucky, Liberty, as we mentioned, Casey County, down toward Columbia, over toward Houstonville and western Lincoln County. So I think really if we see any additional spin-ups, George's probably going to be, again, down here across the south central part of Kentucky. So even though you got just some general rain, Lincoln County, Waynesburg, Stanford, down 27, Science Hill, Somerset, just kind of a heads up that this has to move through your area. We mentioned earlier in the newscast, late Friday, now that we're in a new day and a new month, early April now, we mentioned that as this stuff moved eastward, that the greatest concern was going to be straight line wind damage with the possibility of an isolated tornado spinning up. And if you remember when we were showing you the risk area, it was enhanced through this area, and then the farther east you go into eastern Kentucky, it ramped down to level 2 and then level 1 in far eastern Kentucky. So hopefully, as this continues to work eastward here, we'll see a subsequent reduction in the intensity of this. But nevertheless, we got some very, very heavy rain, a lot of lightning, and I think that cell and probably the rotation is running out of Taylor County and eventually going to be sneaking into Casey County. Jordan?
Yeah, and we have an update from the National Weather Service. They said they are going to let that tornado warning in Taylor County expire at the top of the hour because they're seeing that circulation that has decreased quite a bit. So 6 more minutes at the top of the hour, and then the one in Harrison County is still running at the moment. Again, that goes until 2:15, but unless, it just kind of pulses up here within the next few minutes, I wouldn't be surprised if they let that one go as well.
Yeah, and we talk about it a lot of times this time of the year, really any time of the year it seems anymore. Within these clusters, you get some quick rotation and the warning comes out, and many times these spinners are up and down. By the time, folks get the warning, your no weather radio goes off, you turn on the television, and, the circulation isn't as intense or look as good as, as it it did a few minutes ago. So
and looks like the National Weather Service is not even going to last all the way to 2 a.m. They have expired that tornado warning there in Marion and Taylor County as of now.
Yeah,
so.
even though it still shows up on the radar, or as you get within 10 minutes of the expiration, and they will allow it to expire on its own. So just showing you the circulation, and again, you take it back a few frames here, and you see how tight it was, and there's a difference from what, a half hour ago, 25 minutes ago, and then you see how it's really just kind of broadened out, and really it's gone.
Yeah.
Now, one to watch is potentially this one right here, over parts of Greene County, north of Greensburg. This little area right here, that could potentially spin something up. So that's what we're going to be dealing with, unfortunately, the rest of the overnight, the early morning here, is the fact that we're going to continue to see the potential of these just spinning up very, very quickly and then going away. So, but really front and center, Jordan, more than anything right now, is just heavy rain and the potential for some gusty and maybe even damaging winds. But
it is.
Ironically, here in Lexington, we kind of have been caught in the perfect spot because it's been all north. All the warnings over the last hour and a half have been back toward Louisville, Shelby County, up toward Henry County, Owen County, and then they've been to our southwest. And here in Lexington, we've managed to just kind of be, again, stuck in the middle and just see some heavy rain, some lightning, and that's what we've got right now here at the studio.
Yeah, and as like I said, you said the studio, you can hear the rain on top of our studio here as well. So if you by chance are out caught driving in one of these storms, it might be a good idea to kind of pull over and let that pass, because with all the moisture that is available with these storms, we're seeing some very intense rainfall, again, that intense lightning as well. So maybe some ponding on area roadways, just keep that in mind as you're traveling, because it does not take a lot of rain or you to even be going very fast to get caught off guard. Take that from personal experience.
Yeah, absolutely, Jordan. And you see here the cell that's Warren cell over Harrison County that, again, is out until 2:15. It is already running out of the warning polygon into Robertson County and just kind of clipping the northern part of Nicholas County. So I highly suspect they will probably drop that if they don't extend it farther to the northeast. In fact, with the way that it's going, skipping over into Robertson County and then eventually Mason County, that is under the National Weather Service in Wilmington, Ohio, up in southern Ohio. Those counties, Robertson and Mason County, that's their responsibility. Of course, Harrison County falls under Louisville, so we'll see if Wilmington decides to pick it up. As we mentioned, wasn't all that impressive. And we've got the heavy rain that continues. No warnings here in Lexington. Yeah, you may be hearing the wind whip around. You're hearing some thunder and lightning. But right now, it's just a general thunderstorm with some gusty, potentially strong winds, and just really torrential rain running from Harrodsburg over to Nicholasville and then farther south. If anything, this kind of leading edge right here into central Boyle County and then curving down into northern Casey County, that leading edge, again, may produce some wind gusts upwards of maybe 60, even 65 miles per hour, despite the fact that we don't have a warning. But a lot of times, again, as this thing is really congealed into a squall line as it moves eastward. But Jordan, zooming in here, ironically, this is going to be done here in just a few minutes. So the polygon here, the tornado warning polygon, was for this part of the circulation, which is gone. But now we're seeing a secondary circulation, this time not on the north side of Campbellsville. Even though there's not a warning out here, this is the example of what I was talking about a couple of minutes ago. See, the polygon's gone, so the tornado warning has been allowed to expire, but it's this area right here, where the winds are going in opposite directions. You see the green, west side of Campbellsville, the red, right down US 68. You get those, even though it's fairly broad, you get those side by side, and that gives us an indication that there is some rotation. Jordan, they're just kind of on the back edge of what's kind of at the end of the line here, and that's probably one of the reasons why it's showing a little bit of circulation. Now, they may end up issuing a warning for that, and by the time they do, the circulation may be gone. So that's going to be basically the setup, I think, at least till this thing gets past the I-75 corridor. And once that happens and it gets farther into eastern Kentucky, we should see things be a little bit more stable. All along, we had said through Friday that kind of the demarcation line was going to be up and down I-75. Anywhere west of it, that's where we had the best chance of seeing an isolated tornado spin up. And we had that warning for Taylor, Marion, and it's still ongoing, but that cell is long gone up into Maysville and into Mason County. I don't know, Jordan, if there's anything in the chat at all relative to letting that one go by the wayside.
There is no updates on it, but like you said, it is completely out of the polygon. Just seeing some light rain with that, but still the National Weather Service has no updates on that. Harrison County storm, it technically runs for another roughly 14 minutes here to 2:15, but as soon as we get word from the National Weather Service that they're going to allow this thing to, kind of expire, then of course we will let you know that as well. You can see that this line is being well-defined. It may not be severe everywhere, but it is a well-defined line now that stretches, in between the Interstate 65 and 75 corridor. A lot of at least heavy rain, some frequent lightning, and some gusty winds. And right there, they let the Harrison County tornado expire.
Well, and one thing to point out, and we'll stay with this here for a second. Now that the tornado warnings have expired, we'll pop back and take it back to the regular stuff. But I have to say the model data actually did a really good job, and Jordan can attest to this as we've kind of crunched the data through the course of the afternoon. It was showing about this time, our in-house data was showing what we've got from Lexington to the southwest, and then it was developing this secondary line that's just kind of right on the nose of that boundary back to the west of Louisville. So everything is actually played out as we expected it to, and as forecasted, but we're not out of the woods completely. Of course, we got to get this thing through central Kentucky and out to the east, but I think as we go deeper into the morning and we get away from the better dynamics that we had out into western Kentucky, where we had a number of tornado warnings out toward Owensboro, back toward Morganfield, that's in between Owensboro and Paducah earlier. What we've had is essentially what we expected, but some very heavy rain downtown Lexington, right out Nicholasville Road, really all of Jessamine County, Nicholasville, and then stretching down Harrington Lake, there Danville, Perryville, and then into the northern part of Casey County. So we're really going to have to watch that little area that's kind of cut off from the end of the line. Wouldn't be surprised if we don't eventually see something out of that. So again, if you're hearing a lot of heavy rain, thunder, lightning, the wind whipping around right now, don't have any tornado warnings. We did have a couple from these isolated spin-ups, and we may continue to see that here for the next couple of hours. That tornado watch, which was extended to include Lexington, that goes until 3 o'clock. So for about another hour, Jordan's got some additional info.
Yeah,
here.
Just right before we send you back to regular programming, the Weather Prediction Center has highlighted most of central Kentucky for an increased chance for some flash flooding issues heading into the next couple of hours. So again, not tornadic, but still something that could, disrupt your plans if you are traveling here into the overnight. So be prepared for some of those, again, flash flooding issues. Weather Prediction Center is highlighting our area. TG is going to is pulling up velocity here on that southern storm just south of Campbellsville, because it still is showing a little bit of signs of rotation. Again, no warning on that storm as of yet, but that's something, of course, that we will continue to watch as it gets closer here to our area. But again, the rain on top of our station is very heavy, so that, along with some gusty winds and lightning, is our main concern for the moment.
Yeah, absolutely. So again, no severe thunderstorm warning here in the metro area, but if you're in here in Lexington, in the metro, down toward Nicholasville, and you're hearing the heavy rain and the thunder and lightning and waking up and wondering what's happening, right now we're in good shape. We don't have any warnings as far as tornado warnings across the area. We just had those couple that spin up, but as we progress through the remainder of the morning and this stuff moves out into eastern Kentucky, hopefully we will see it continue to diminish in its intensity. We're still going to have heavy rain, thunder and lightning, and some gusty winds, but the trend is for at least a bit of weakening, hopefully, that will keep us away from any severe thunderstorm and especially any tornado warnings as it runs farther out into eastern Kentucky. So with that and the fact we don't have any tornado warnings, we are going to continue to, of course, monitor for the potential for any circulation or any of these isolated spin-ups as we go through the remainder of the morning. But we'll monitor that. We'll send you back to regular programming. Meteorologist Jordan Smith and yours truly will be here in the ABC 36 Storm Team Weather Center, continuing to monitor the situation until the watch expires here, hopefully at the top of the hour. They've been cutting some of the counties off out west, so once we get this band through the metro area and across southern Kentucky, hopefully we'll be out of the woods. I don't think they have any plans of extending it out into eastern Kentucky as overall, everything seems to be weakening. So for meteorologist Jordan Smith, I'm Chief Meteorologist T.G. Shuck. We'll send you back to regular programming. And of course, we will cut back in if the situation warrants.